Saint Lucy, remembered 13th of December, also known as St. Lucy of Syracuse, a young woman who was born in Syracuse in Sicily in 283 to a wealthy family. The oldest testament to Lucy's life and veneration as a saint comes from inscriptions found in the tombs of Syracuse dating from the early 400s. Her Roman father is said to have died when Lucy was still very young. Growing up, she decided to dedicate her virginity to her faith. This fact was unknown by her mother, Eutychia, whose name implies she may have come from Greece. Eutychia encouraged Lucy to marry the son of a wealthy pagan family in their community. Lucy's mother was particularly keen on this match because she worried she would not live long and wanted her daughter to be taken care of. Eutychia suffered from a bleeding disorder and feared for her health. Lucy encouraged her mother to make a pilgrimage with her to the tomb of St. Agatha, a virgin and martyr who had been killed some 52 years before. It is said that miracles had happened around the site of her tomb since then. It was during their pilgrimage to Agatha's tomb that Lucy saw a vision of the saint in her dreams. She was told that because of her faith, her mother would be cured, and that Lucy would become the glory of Syracuse. With her mother healed, Lucy took the opportunity to persuade her mother to allow her to take the great part of her fortune, left by her father and intended to be used as a dowry to secure a good marriage for her, and instead to distribute it amongst the poor. Her mother was hesitant to allow this, offering instead that the sum would make a good bequest as part of a charitable legacy in her will. Lucy countered, saying, "Whatever you give away at death for the Lord's sake, you give because you cannot take it with you. Give now to the true Saviour while you are healthy, whatever you intend to give away at your death." News that Lucy was giving her dowry away to those in need, and that she had consecrated her perpetual virginity to Christ, caused disquiet for Lucy's prospective pagan husband, who began to fear that they might not be married after all. One later legend accounts that, when he continued his pursuit of her, Lucy asked him what it could possibly be that he found so attractive about her. His response, that she had beautiful eyes, caused her to rip out one or both of them and throw them at him, saying, "Then leave the rest of me to God." However, this is a later legend. Certainly her fiancé is said to have denounced Lucy to the authorities as a Christian when she refused to marry him. This was when the Diocletian persecutions were at their height, and Lucy was taken before the governor. He ordered Lucy to sacrifice to the divine emperor a simple grain of incense into the brazier and a formal statement, no great act, and after this she might go free without a stain on her character. To marry, to give her jewels to the poor, the governor and the state really didn't care. When Lucy refused to do this, saying that as a Christian she could not make any act towards a false divinity, the governor ordered her to be taken to a brothel, and thereby, as older accounts put it, to be exposed to prostitution, having her vows made forfeit by force. However, when the guards came to take her away, she was found to be miraculously stuck fast, unable to move. Lucy is said to have remained rooted to her spot in the courtroom, even when tethered to a team of up to 500 oxen. Wood was piled up around her so that she could be burnt instead, but the pyre would not light. Eventually Lucy was killed when a sword was thrust through her neck. Her body was buried, and later became a site of pilgrimage as her fame as a resolute virgin and martyr in the town of Syracuse spread. Many depictions of Lucy have her carrying her eyes. This is because of the legend that she either plucked them out to throw at her suitor, or that the governor ordered them gouged out as a punishment when she could not be moved. In either case, they are said to have been miraculously restored before her death, more beautiful than ever. However, these do seem to be legends that come long after her lifetime. It is possible that they arose because of a confusion over the images of St. Agatha, also from Sicily, who in paintings often carries her breasts on a tray after they were removed as part of her torture. Lucy's feast day falls on the anniversary of her death, the 13th of December 304. Traditionally, this is the winter solstice, the midnight of the year, the shortest and darkest day. Because her name comes from the Latin for light, celebrations involving light in the darkest part of the year are held around the world. In Syracuse, they remember that it was on her feast day, when the island was starving, that grain ships arrived in the harbour to lift the famine. There, and in a surprising number of other places, it is traditional to eat a form of boiled grain on St. Lucy's Day, with it often said that the grains resemble St. Lucy's eyes. In Hungary, it is custom to plant wheat in a small pot on St. Lucy's Day. By Christmas, green sprouts appear, a sign of life coming from death. The wheat is then carried to the manger scene as the symbol of Christ in the Eucharist. The most famous celebrations take place in Scandinavia. Here, children dress in white, often accompanied by the red sash of the martyrs, with a child representing St. Lucy wearing a crown of candles. They are part of processions, singing and giving gifts and sweets. This tradition is said to relate to St. Lucy wearing a crown of candles when she would visit Christians hiding in the catacombs during the persecution. She needed the lights to find her way, and found that if she wore them around her head, she kept both hands free, enabling her to carry more food. Today, Lucy is patron saint of the blind, ophthalmologists, authors, cutlers, glaziers, labourers, martyrs, peasants, saddlers, salesmen, and stained glass workers, and of those suffering from hemorrhages, dysentery, diseases of the eye, and throat infections. There is debate over Lucy's life. Ultimately, however, she was a young woman who determined to dedicate her life to God, to refuse marriage, and to help the poor. For this, she caused anger, hatred, and was sentenced to death. Her life is celebrated as a shining light in the depth of the dark winter. St. Lucy is remembered on the 13th of December.